Hello and happy Monday, class. So I've had a few questions about APA formatting, including the title page, the references, and the citations on the reference page. So I wanted to just go over some of the tools and tips and resources for you to be able to set up your paper in APA very easily and show you the places that you can go to get more information. So to begin with, I just started out on the Center for Writing Excellence, and when you scroll down there are two sections, and that is writing and style information and APA templates and samples. And in here you can see there is the University of Phoenix Writing and Style Guides, which are actually going to be found here under the APA template, and reference and citation examples, as well as some other information. And you can also get an APA sample paper, an undergraduate paper, which is the level that where you are. And this shows you 100 to 299 is the class, the course series. So this is a 135 class, so this is where you would get your template. And then you can look at a sample annotated bibliography if you are doing that in a class, and some other examples. Okay. So I downloaded the template and I downloaded the sample paper. So I'm just going to bring this template up for us to look at for a moment. And this is a template that's done in a Microsoft Word document. So it's already done for you, and all you need to do is go in and change the information, such as the title and your name and our university name and the course number, my name, and the due date spelled out. So today is December 19th, so it would be December fully spelled out, 19, 2022. If you notice, the title is in bold. There is an extra space between the title and the rest of the information. And this is about, from the top margin, about 3 to 4 spaces down. So this is the way you would want to set up your paper. And then the title is repeated on the first page of text, which is the second page of the document. And then it goes through and it gives you information as it also shows you what it looks like. And you can see everything's nicely double spaced, there's headers, and then it gives you this section on the references and using a hanging indent. But you can also go to, and I'm going to bring this up here, to the sample paper. And what I like about the sample paper is that it will give you the instructions for each of these items or elements on your paper and some introductory information. So it tells you, what type of font to use, the color, the recommended font styles and sizes, the layout and spacing, and some other elements. Now, because you are undergraduates, this is the style that you are going to use, and what you'll notice is there is no running head. So in undergraduate papers, when you create a title page, you do not use a running head. You are just including the page number on the right side. And then of course you get the instructions for this, and the title and the information, and then the title repeated, and the page number should paginate if you insert it correctly. And one of the questions was my number keeps going to the left, and that is because you're using, most likely you're using the header function rather than the page insert function. So there's more instructions throughout this to help you, and it's all nicely spaced. But the one problem on this document, this sample paper, is that the person who uploaded it did not check, and some of the headers and spacing is not correct. And I wanted to point that out. A page header should never be left on a page like this without at least one line of text. So this should have been down here. And then there was a few other errors, and as you can see, page headers should be double spaced between sections, just like every other line should all be double spaced. You can see that. Header, nicely double spaced, no extra spaces. But there is an extra space here. This is an error. It should be only double spaced before and after. So I just want you to take note of that. But this one, again, you can see how to do document headings, which are only 2 or 3 words, all capitalized. There's also in-text citations, so you can look at how they do in-text citations and then go to their reference page and look at the references. These are different levels of heading, italicized. Okay. So there's a few other, or there are a couple of other resources that I wanted to show you, and one of them is the OWL at Purdue. So I'm going to hop over here. This is, nope, yes, this is the AP. Okay, sorry. This is the OWL at Purdue. It is the Purdue University's online writing center or writing, let's see, the OWL stands for Online Writing Lab. And it has information on everything about writing. I mean, everything you could possibly want to know, and resources for you are here. It is the most used online writing lab in the United States, and I know that it's used outside of the United States as well. But we're in the APA style workshop, and it tells you just, again, some introductory information about APA, what it is, why use it, who uses it, and some other information. You could go right to these areas, or you can go to the left here, and I clicked on APA Formatting and Style Guide. We're in the 7th edition. And then you can click on these tabs or these links to find out information like general formatting. How do you set up your page, your title page, things like that. And then in-text basics, the overview of how to do an in-text citation in APA. And then specifics, like how do you do an in-text citation when there is more than one author, or there is no author, or authors have the same last names, or there's multiple works by the same authors, and some other possible variations, corporate authors and some other styles. And then this is the reference list and the basic rules, and then it goes through and also gives you all different possibilities of different sources and how to cite them in your reference list. And note that it is a reference list singular when there's only one source on that list, and when there are more than one source, then it is references list, plural. So again, this talks about one author, two authors, multiple authors, no author, corporate authors, what we call an indirect source when the author of the source you have cites another author, and then articles and periodicals, which are any kind of magazine, journal, newspaper, books, other types of print sources, electronic sources, including databases, and other types of sources such as audio media, audiovisual media, and other types of non-printed sources. And then all kinds of other aspects of APA that you can look at, including an APA sample paper, and there's a slideshow presentation on APA, how to do tables and figures, and so on. Okay, and then I brought up a free APA citation generator. Now, I believe it's very important for you to learn what elements go into an APA citation for the reference page, and that by going to the OWL, I'm going to go back again, and looking at how to do these. I'm just going to go to the page on electronic citations in your reference list or sources, so that you can see it gives you what type of an electronic source it is. It gives you the information that you should include, and then it gives you an example. And this, of course, should be double-spaced, but for the page and for, I guess, not having it so spread out, it doesn't look like it is double-spaced, but it is. And it's really important that you just become familiar with this. When you see a citation and you see that possibly something's missing, because you are familiar with what needs to be included. And it goes through and talks about all different types of online sources. And again, it tells you the information that needs to be included, and then it gives you an example. But you can also use a free APA citation generator, and it is really easy to do this. When you come here, it asks, is this a website? Is this from a book, a journal, a video, or it gives you some other possibilities. So I'm also using an example of a student who chose this report for his week 4 assignment. And so right away when I look at it, I see, well, this is the title. I know the title needs to be there. It needs to have the date included. It needs to have the website that it comes from. It comes from Business Wire, a Berkshire Hathaway company. There is no author that I see, so they are the authors themselves. So I know that this needs to be in it as well as the address. But in order to use that APA citation generator, I'm going to copy this address. I'm going to go to the free APA website generator. I'm using the website, so I'm going to paste it here. And then I'm going to search. And then I look and say, yes, this is the one. It doesn't have an author. It's anonymous, but it is the, I'm imagining the website source itself that is the author. The container is the source it comes from, and if it's an article online, that would be the website. If it is a book, the container could have chapters or short stories. Journals have articles within them. The journal is the container, the newspaper is the container, the magazine is the container. So when you hear the container, it is the source itself that contains the articles or short stories or chapters. And the URL, and I say, yep, this is correct, this is the right one, and I click on it, and then it's going to give me the citation that I can now copy onto my document. All right, so I'm going to show you a couple of other things, and then I'm going to copy this onto the document. So I'm going to go and I'm going to open up a new document because I want to show you just a few more tips for setting up your document. Okay, so I'm opening up a brand new document and I wanted to show you a few more tips, okay? So first of all, when you open up a Microsoft Word document, you are opening up a document that was formatted to use in businesses. So the elements or the default settings are going to default to certain business formatting requirements. And those are single space with double spaces between paragraphs, and adding some extra space between certain sections. And those are already built in. So I want to show you how you can change this when you go to write an APA formatted paper versus a business formatted paper. And you're going to go up to your layout, and this is an older program, but you will still have this layout. And you're going to go to the section that says indenting and spacing and paragraph underneath it. And this is for an APA document that has to be double spaced all the way through with no extra spaces anywhere. And you want to make sure that it says 0 and 0 point. And I'm going to show you why in a minute. You also want to, when you go to your home, you want to set it for double space. So that's APA formatted. You want to make sure that your margin's to the left. You can go here, and this little tiny arrow will open up the paragraph settings for you. You can get this little paragraph box by right-clicking on your document, and you're going to get the drop down and you choose paragraph, and you're going to get that same exact box. So when I go back to here to my paragraph, again, I want to have my spacing before and after at 0, my line spacing at double, no special indents here, and I always take that out so that I don't have a huge space at the bottom, because this has to do with keeping certain sections together. I go back here and I want to set this as my default. And if you want to do it for this document only or all documents, so that whenever you're typing in APA, this will be the default formatting on the page. Okay. So now when you need to put in your page number, and you do not need a running head in APA undergraduate classes, you want to go into your 1/2 inch margin or 1/2 inch header, I'm sorry, outside your margin, and you want to go to Insert, and you want to go to across to page number. So you do not want to choose your header or footer. You don't want to choose your header, because what the header is going to do is it's going to include that exact same information on every single page. And if you put a page number, it might shift the page number. So you want to do page number, top of the page. My program is being slow right now. And to the right side. And now you'll have that paginated on all your pages. And you also want to make sure that this is the same font style of whatever you're using, and I'm going to use Calibri 12. I always use 12. If you use 11, just know you're going to have to write a little bit more. And then I go back into my paper. Now I'm on the top. And now I can start 1, 2, 3, 4, center it, and put my title. And then you do have one extra space for this one, so now this is where you're going to put in your other information, so your name, and the university, and the course, oops, and instructor name, and the date. And I noticed that this has changed it to 11. So anything you do, of course, you can fix this here and set this for 11. It might, hopefully it's going to hold to the same exact font size and style. You're going to have to check on that. And then I'm going to go to my first page, and I'm going to repeat my title again. And I'm going to make this bold, right, because the titles are bold. And make this title bold. But you can notice there's an extra space here. This is all nicely double spaced. Now you have your title here. Now remember, when you go back to starting and you put this to the left margin and you click indent, and that should be 7 spaces in APA. And when you start, typing, it may be in bold. Okay, I can't type while I'm being watched, because the last line was bold. So now, of course, you're going to have to go and say, no, I don't want bold, and then continue to type. All right, so you know, here we have our page 2, and now I'm going to start typing using paragraphs and indenting. And that's how you can set up your own page. But I want to show you what happens if I did not change this layout spacing. So if I go back to the home, I'm going to just select all, and I'm going to go to my layout, and I'm going to pretend that I didn't change this before and after spacing, because Microsoft Word Business, what it is set to at default, usually has 8 here and sometimes 10. And what you'll see is, watch what happens to my spacing here. See how it's so nice and double spaced here? And then I'm double spacing between every line, but when I click here and I say enter, now look, it just dropped it down and it added another space. 10 point is another space in between these lines. And so now what I've done is created, this is now 3, everything is, well, this was double 4, so it's like 5 spaces, and these are 3. So you want to make sure this is set at 0. So you see how it goes back up, goes back down, goes back up. So you need to make sure this is set at 0 point. And then I can go back to home, so I have all my elements here that I use most commonly, and now everything will be spaced correctly, and I can continue to do that. And I'm going to go back up here, and I'm going to show you now how to copy and paste this so that you don't lose the special highlighting, or in this case, italics. So I'm going to go to my page. Now, when I finish my paper and I'm all done, I want to set up my reference page. Okay. So I'm going to go to my 3rd or whatever the next page is after I'm done, and I'm going to center this, and this is called references. or reference if I only have one source. So I only have one source right now. Then I'm going to go to the left again, and I'm going to go back here, copy it, go back to my paper. Okay, so now I'm going to not just copy and paste it, because what's going to happen if I do that? Well, it worked. It saved the italics, but you can see it's in a different font, size, and style. All right. Now if I do this one, which is keep text only, I lose the italics, but it is pasted now in the correct font, size, and style. But if I choose this one, which is merge formatting, and you can do it here as well, you can just right click, click, and choose merge formatting. I save my italics. And now I have all the information I need, but I need to do the hanging indent, which means that every line after the first line, right now, you can't see this, but my cat is trying to get onto my computer to the keyboard section, because my cats love to sleep there and mess everything up. Okay, so what you need to do is you need to put your cursor here, but if you try to tab, it's going to tab everything. So what you want to do is you want to click enter, and that's going to release the sort of default format, and then press tab and it will tab that over for you, and then you can tab this over as well. Now you can actually break up your address so that it goes all the way across the page if this bothers you, which I don't know why in my own OCD-ness it does. So after a backslash, you can break this up, and I would put it like that. But what you do need to do is you need to make sure that you remove all your hyperlinks. Now if you're not OCD the way I am, and you are fine with it looking like this, then it is acceptable to leave it this way. But I don't know why, it just kind of makes me cringe. So again, you can remove that. But for me, I don't know. I just like to have it all the way across the page and looking all symmetrical like that. Now, of course, you can see this should be Calibri 12. If you have another source that you're going to add right here using a hanging indent, then this will become references. Okay, and so it always starts with the title of the document. The address is the date is in parentheses, the name of the website, and the website address. And I got that from using EasyBib. But if you go to the OWL and you go to online articles, that does not have a last name. Like this one doesn't have an author, but it does have the organization that wrote it. But if the page author is not listed, start with the title instead. And so you can see Tucson White Bean Pasta is the title. But when you cite this inside of your text, in the body of your text, you are going to change this. You're going to take it out of its italics. You're going to use the first 2 to 3 words of the title. You're going to put it back into a non-italics, all cap, and you're going to put it into quotation marks. So if I was going to use this inside my text after a citation, let's pretend this is my citation. I'm going to put this, oops, not in that font. So I'm going to have to change my font to Calibri 12. I'm going to take it out of italics now, and I'm going to put it into quotation marks because this is part of the title, and article titles are, the verse words are uppercase, capitalized, and I'm going to put my parentheses, and the period only goes after, it does not go here. Okay, it only goes here. And if there was a page number, I'm sorry, not a page number, a date, and of course I would put the date here for this, and actually I don't know if there's a date for that one, but let's pretend there was a date of 2021. That would go there as well. And actually in APA, if there is the page number, then you would put the page number. If there is no page number for some type of an online article, then you do not need to put the page number, though you could do paragraph, and you could count the paragraph numbers. Paragraph number. Okay, so that is my mini lesson on how to set up your paper in APA, including your title page, the body, adding an in-text citation, your references, and how to set that up. Oh, I wanted to show you one other thing. The other way you can do this, rather than just doing the enter and then tab, is you can go here, and again you can go to your paragraphs. You can go to special, and you could do hanging. This is the hanging indent. Okay, now there's no hanging indent, so I'm going to, let's see if this works. So we go here, go to hanging. There we go. And it created my hanging indent for me. Okay, so I posted this information in one of the announcements, but remember, you can just go back to our Center for Writing Excellence, and you can find this template, and you can find the example paper, which is this, or sample paper that gives you all the information included. You can go to the OWL, which has an immense variety of very helpful resources for you, and you can use a free citation generator. So I hope this helped you, and I hope you have a good week.